It's a
Right.
She gave her the. She was supposed to be.
Doing pretty good, getting better and better. For eight.
I see him get out there talking yesterday, see him down there. Looks like he's already lost walls. Yeah. Wow, I see him. Talk a little bit. It's going. The only thing I have to learn. See, they expect great some stuff and something like that. He wants to change. No, I heard that for years. He wants to have like they expand it over. He was here. I didn't see it's the first year. We got to come straight out. Like.
Jimmy Stramberg.
Hey, there's something you know, some guy that's deal with. I don't remember the nice when we started. Right. All the months chapter. I said, make you a chair with your good idea. Talking about. This is no chicken sand. I really think that would be a good idea.
The Jackson County Board of Supervisors regular session for March is called to order. Clerk will take the roll.
Here.
Daryl Ball,
Here.
Michael Beck.
Here.
Mike Curtis,
Here.
Russell Anderson.
Here.
Max Hart,
Here.
Bill Laurent,
Here.
Tom Cooper,
Here.
Arthur Bucky,
Here.
Ron Carney,
Here.
Dale Hop,
Here.
John Higgins,
Here.
Sarah Pelican. Here. Desiree Green Lancaster. Here. Jeff Amo,
Here.
Gerald Schmidt. Edward Chamberlain.
Here.
(16). Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, I would like to call for a moment of reflection in memory of Doug Hurlbert, who passed away, I believe, last week. He was a 10-year member of the board, got off, I think it's 2010. So just a moment of reflection. Okay, thank you. Item 4, approve the county board minutes. They were on your iPads from the January meeting. Motion by Sarah. Second by John to approve. Any further discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? It's carried. Next on the agenda is the county clerk appointment. And I would like to put the name of Melissa Windsor forward and nominate her for this position. The resume was on your iPads. I would need a motion to affirm that. Motion by Hoyt Stromberg.
She did things I didn't know she did.
Second.
Seconded by John Higgins. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? It's carried. I think we agreed that she'd start on April 20th, I believe. So we'll see that through. Mary just breathed a sigh of relief. But she will have to get us through the election in April. Proclamation for Public Health Week. Again, on your iPads.
Highlighting the importance of local leadership, strong community partnerships, and practical place-based solutions in building healthier and more resilient communities. And whereas National Public Health Week is a time to recognize the vital contributions of public health professionals and celebrate the collective efforts to improve the health and well-being of our communities. And whereas Jackson County Public Health plays a critical role in ensuring access to essential services, preventing disease and injury, promoting healthy families and communities, protecting the environment, and preparing for and responding to public health emergencies. And whereas Jackson County Public Health works collaboratively with residents, schools, healthcare providers, local businesses, and community organizations to address unique rural health needs through programs and services, including disease prevention, environmental health, maternal, child, adolescent, and family health, chronic disease prevention, behavioral health promotion, injury prevention, and emergency preparedness. And whereas the people of Jackson County recognize that strong public health systems are essential to a safe, healthy, and thriving rural community. And now therefore be it resolved, the Jackson County Board of Supervisors calls upon the citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools in Jackson County to recommit our community in recognizing the dedication of public health professions and community partners who work together to take action toward a healthier future, all who live, learn, work, and play in our county. As further resolved, the Jackson County Board of Supervisors do hereby proclaim the week of April 5th, 2026 as National Public Health Week in Jackson County.
Motion by Max, seconded by Garth to adopt. Anybody going to speak on this? Jenny, Carly, Jenny? Carly?
Just a proclamation for public health, something they do almost every year. They do have Public Health Week. They have a schedule and some activities for some education for our community and some other things for the staff as well. If there's any other questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Any questions? All those in favor of the proclamation signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried. Next is the child abuse prevention proclamation.
Whereas child abuse and neglect are complex and ongoing problems across society affecting families in Jackson County. And whereas the Jackson County Department of Health and Human Services Children and Families Division received 481 reports of child abuse or neglect in the year 2025. And whereas Jackson County has dedicated individuals and organizations who work to counter the problems caused by child abuse and to help families obtain the assistance that they need to raise their children in a safe and nurturing environment. And whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeed because of partnerships among nonprofit agencies, schools, religious organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. And whereas Jackson County will become a stronger and healthier community if everyone is aware of the signs and symptoms of child abuse and work together to help parents raise their children in safe, nurturing environments. And whereas proclaiming April 2026 as Child Abuse Prevention Month will allow the Children and Families Division at the Department of Health and Human Services to raise awareness about child abuse prevention. Now therefore be it resolved that the Jackson County Board of Supervisors urges all citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools in Jackson County to recommit our community to increasing awareness and understanding of the signs of child abuse and neglect, and to provide assistance when able to help parents raise our community's children in safe, nurturing environments. And it is further resolved, the Jackson County Board of Supervisors do hereby proclaim April 2026 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Jackson County.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Tom, seconded by Desiree to approve the proclamation. Jenny, are you going to speak on this?
April, children getting out in the community, and working with our local schools and partners. Some of the things that we do throughout April is we host a t-shirt contest with the fourth graders. That's just to kind of encourage students to think about prevention and support safe communities. We also have our younger students in kindergarten and first grade color pinwheels that we can put among local businesses. It's just more of a visible reminder to our community of our commitment to protect children. Something new this year, we are partnering with Children's Wisconsin, just to engage the community more and kind of a local scavenger hunt around local businesses and other areas in our community. So really, we just ask that you sign the proclamation showing our commitment to prevention, awareness, and strengthening families across Jackson County.
Thank you. If no further discussion, all in favor of the proclamation signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried. Next is resolution 0503 to honor some old guy.
Whereas the Jackson County Board of Supervisors has convened on the 16th day of March in the year of our Lord 2026. And whereas the
Yeah.
Jackson County Board of Supervisors wishes to recognize and
See if it
honor
passes.
Jeffrey Amo for 2 years of distinguished and faithful service to
Okay.
the citizens of Jackson County as a county board supervisor, second vice chair, and for the last 4 years, chairman of the Jackson County Board. Whereas throughout his tenure, Jeffrey Amo has consistently exemplified professionalism, dedication, and integrity, earning the respect and gratitude of his colleagues and the community he served. Now therefore be it resolved that the Jackson County Board of Supervisors hereby extends its deepest appreciation and heartfelt thanks to Jeffrey Amo for his many years of devoted service to Jackson County. And be it further resolved that the board wishes Jeffrey Amo continued happiness, health, and fulfillment in his well-earned retirement.
Motion by Sarah, seconded by Tom to approve. We better approve it before you give me the plaque, so in case that, falls through. So all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Jeff, I believe joined the county board in 2004 when he was selected from this district. He came in as a freshman supervisor. Next month in April on election day, he's going to retire as board chair. And you've heard some of the things he's done during his tenure, so I'm not going to cover all of that. But I would like to congratulate you on behalf of the board members, the employees, the citizens of the county. Wish you the best in which chapter of your life.
And I, the next 75 years.
I would just like to point out what we did here was that he did help control the camping piece.
I tried.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff. People laugh at Ron, because we came on board and said, oh, he's gonna be a senior member. Board.
The oldest one too, probably.
So, my family's here, part of my family's here, my wife, Wanda, my grandson, Jeffrey, one of my daughters, Karen, and my sister, Suzanne. Are you my younger sister or older? Okay. And friends, we happen to have a couple of my good friends, Steve Schreiber and Mark Nordahl, two fire chiefs. I was a fire chief. We just still hang out together, I guess. So, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right. Approval of the CEO Consortium Agreement, Resolution 0603.
Whereas pursuant to the Federal Workforce Innovations and Opportunities Act, WIOA, federal funds are provided to states to provide job skills, education, and training to help individuals find employment. And whereas Wisconsin receives such funds through 11 workforce development areas, and Jackson County is in workforce development area WDA 9 with 7 other counties. And whereas the federal WIOA requires that each region create a consortium formed by the counties contained within each region, and that each consortium establish certain operating procedures, duties, and responsibilities. And whereas the consortium is required to appoint and oversee a workforce development board, which oversees job centers and employment and training programs, etc., and be responsible for program planning and oversight, including financial oversight. And whereas the last consortium agreement was approved by the counties in 2015, and whereas the state of Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development is requiring a review/update of all governance documents in Workforce Development Area 9, and whereas the attached agreement forms the Western Wisconsin Counties Consortium, WWCC, and contains the operating procedures, duties, and responsibilities of the WWCC. Now therefore be it resolved that the Jackson County Board of Supervisors hereby authorizes the county's WWCC board appointee to sign the attached chief elected officials consortium agreement of the Western Wisconsin Workforce Development Area.
Motion by Garth, second by Max to approve the resolution. This is a very complicated subject, complicated issue. And Malaya Malone from Wisconsin Counties Association is on the Zoom to help try and explain it and answer any questions that we may have. So Malaya?
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to appear by Teams. As the chair indicated, my name is Malia Malone. I'm an attorney with Atolis Law. Our law firm, many of you might recognize the name Andy Phillips. Our law firm is headed up by Andy Phillips, and we are in-house counsel for the Wisconsin Counties Association. In my former life, I was a corporation counsel for a northern county for about 20 years. So I understand the complexities and concerns that individual counties might have when they're involved in a multi-county consortium that has a potential fiscal impact that could roll back to individual counties. Our law firm was recruited by the Wisconsin Counties Association to assist the individual county consortium members and also the chief local elected officials that serve from each of the counties on the Western Wisconsin Workforce Development Consortium. So all of these counties, including Juneau, Crawford, Buffalo, La Crosse, Monroe, Trempealeau, Vernon, and Jackson, are involved in this consortium. And what gave rise to WCA becoming involved and then our law firm becoming involved were some issues where the Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development, that is in charge of monitoring these workforce development grant dollars that are a part of the WIOA, which is a federal grant program. It's federal dollars that come to the state through the Department of Workforce Development and then get sent down to these individual consortiums and individual workforce development boards so that they can implement programs to help workforce resources within that consortium area. As your chair indicated, and whoever read the resolution, these are complicated issues. Why it's important that we as Jackson County address this now is because the state has found that over the last several years, there were some issues, accounting issues that resulted in disallowed costs. These are funds that the state is saying, hey, consortium, we've got an issue with the Workforce Development Board, and we might request repayment of certain federal grant dollars. Why it's important for Jackson County is because it is clearly not one of the largest counties in the consortium. And the way the current consortium agreement reads and other governance documents, it is ambiguous as to whether or not the state could require each of the individual 8 counties to share a 1/8 cost and have to repay those disallowed costs. And unfortunately, the way these federal dollars work, even though individual counties are not in control of how the funds are spent, when a workforce development area is not able to show the accounting behind the costs that they spent for these WIOA federal grant dollars, individual counties can, I'm not saying they would be, but they can become liable for those costs. What this new agreement does, it clears up the ambiguity and says, rather than having individual counties be required to pay back 1/8 of any disallowed costs, it should be broken up by population. So Jackson County would have a much smaller share under this new agreement if counties were required to pay back any of those disallowed costs. Now, keep in mind, WCA and our law firm is actively working with the consortium to try to avoid having any county have to repay any dollars. That is our goal. We are working for each of the individual counties and on behalf of the counties. But if in the worst case scenario, there would be a required repayment, this new agreement would indicate that those disallowed costs should be based upon population of the individual 8 counties that are involved rather than some other formula. I know that this was already at committee, and so those who are on the committee that had this information, I believe Sarah Dietrich Castor from WCA was able to present. Again, it's a lot of information I'm sharing with you, so I'm here as a resource to answer any questions. But I will say that because of the timing, time is of the essence. The state, the Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development, has given the consortium and the underlying Workforce Development Board some time to get these documents in order, but this is the first step. And we hope that the board considers passing this today. And again, if you have any questions, I know, again, that's a lot of information to throw at you, but I'm here as a resource to help.
Wait,
Who's overseeing this in all the past years? Was it someone in charge, or why did they finally find it now? I assume it wasn't fraud, it was just misunderstanding the paperwork and confusion.
So I can kind of hear you. It's a little bit difficult, but I think what you're asking, and correct me if I'm wrong, is how did we get here? What happened with the management of the Workforce Development Board that caused the issues that we're seeing today? Is that what you were asking?
Essentially, yes.
yes,
Yeah. So what, we're not going to use the word fraud because we have no evidence of fraud. What it does appear to be is a lack of competence for the unique accounting that is required when it comes to these federal grant dollars. And we believe that previous leadership that was hired by the Workforce Development Board, unfortunately, lacked the competence specifically in accounting for the way WIOA grant funds are spent. So again, we don't think that there was dollars that were used inappropriately. We just can't, and by we, I mean the Wisconsin Workforce Development Area, WDA 9, could not go back and allocate. Most of it was staff time, how much staff time was used for certain WIOA programs. So they disallowed those costs. We are, by we, in this circumstance, the Wisconsin Counties Association is assisting the Workforce Development Board Consortium as it currently exists, which we're assisting them in trying to avoid any repayment from individual counties for these disallowed costs. What we're hoping is some type of repayment plan where the Workforce Development Board itself can secure other dollars outside of the federal grant dollars in order to enter some type of repayment plan with the state rather than coming back to each individual county.
If we were to drop out, would we still be responsible?
That's
We
a
don't-
great question. Unfortunately, because this is a federal grant that is mandated to exist in every state and in every county, it's up to the state how they create these workforce development areas. Some states, the entire state is just one big area. In Wisconsin, we have several different areas, and an individual county cannot unfortunately just opt out of the program. So even if Jackson County were not a part of this area, it would become a part of another area. And if this doesn't pass today, the result would be that the old agreement, the one from 2015, that is ambiguous on how each individual county would be allocated to repay any disallowed costs, that old agreement would remain. I do believe all but one of the other counties has passed this a resolution similar to the one before you and agreed to this new agreement, new consortium agreement. There is one other county that I believe meets later this week. So other than Jackson County, all of the other counties, save one, have already agreed to enter into this new agreement.
So under the reorganization, is my understanding that there'll be a better partnership with Western Technical College as far as dealing with the financial part of it?
That's correct. Western Technical College has now agreed and been approved both by the Workforce Development Board and the local elected official consortium and the state of Wisconsin through the Department of Workforce Development to act as the fiscal agent, which is great because they have extensive history and experience in working with federal grant dollars. And I can confidently say that since we have been working with the local elected officials consortium, which I think dates back to the spring of last year, so we've been working for about a year, there should be no new disallowed costs from that time frame, because as everybody has been going forward, the new folks that are managing the Workforce Development Board, the new staff, the new executive director, have all been working very closely with Sarah from WCA, with me from Atolis Law, and with the representatives from the Department of Workforce Development. So we believe the ship in that sense has been righted. So there should not be any future issues. It's really just cleaning up a few years of accounting mishaps that happened before we became involved.
All right. Any other questions? It's in our best interest to pass the agreement and start over with this new organization. So all in favor of passing the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Next is Resolution 0703, Transportation Resolution.
also relies on a safe, reliable, and well-maintained transportation network. And whereas local governments greatly appreciate the one-time infusions of general purpose revenue, primarily sales and income taxes, and other revenue provided in recent state budgets, which have enabled the initiation and continuation of the successful and popular Local Roads Improvement Program Supplemental, LRIP-S, and Agricultural Road Improvement Program, ARIP. And whereas despite modest increases from the state over the years, transportation aids to local governments remain insufficient to keep pace with inflation and rising construction costs, leaving many communities funded below 2000 levels in real dollars. And whereas local governments throughout Wisconsin continue to struggle to perform even routine maintenance, pavement preservation, and safety improvements, resulting in deteriorating roads and bridges. And whereas the inaugural inventory and assessment of small bridges between 6 to 20 feet found about 10% of the nearly 17,000 structures to be in poor or severe condition. And whereas levy limits and other fiscal constraints prevent local governments from independently filling the funding gap created by inadequate state transportation aids. And whereas absent sustainable state funding, many communities have been forced to address their shortfalls by significantly increasing borrowing, deferring essential projects, or imposing local vehicle registration wheel taxes. And whereas Wisconsin's motorists currently pay among the lowest transportation user fees in the Midwest, while neighboring states and dozens of others nationwide have enacted long-term revenue measures to keep their transportation systems competitive. And whereas Wisconsin is increasingly relying on general purpose revenues to make needed investments, potentially pitting transportation against other vital services such as education. And whereas continued lack of growing, dedicated, and predictable revenue places Wisconsin at a growing economic disadvantage by threatening the efficiency of freight movement, the safety of travelers, and the attractiveness of our state to businesses and residents. And whereas both Wisconsin's aging interstate highway system, largely constructed in the 1950s and 60s, and our extensive network of state and local roads require predictable, adequate, and sustainable funding to meet current and future needs. Now therefore be it resolved that the Jackson County Board of Supervisors strongly urges the governor of Wisconsin and the state legislature to enact a comprehensive, sustainable transportation funding solution that will, 1, provides adequate and reliable revenue growth for the efficient long-term planning and execution of state and local transportation programs. 2, includes responsible and prudent use of general purpose revenue and bonding. 3, adjusts any new and existing transportation user fees and other revenue mechanisms to sustain purchasing power in order to maintain and improve Wisconsin's transportation infrastructure. And 4, ensures transportation continues to deliver for Wisconsin by adequately funding reconstruction, preservation, and safety investments on the state and local systems. Be it further resolved that the clerk is hereby directed to transmit a copy of this resolution to the governor's office, all members of the Wisconsin State Senate and Assembly representing districts within Jackson County and the Wisconsin Counties Association.
Motion by Ed to approve, seconded by John. Discussion. Kevin, you want to speak toward WCHA asked us to pass this.
Yeah. It was asked for 72 companies to pass this resolution. It has basically to come up with a road aid to, right now, our road aid is, kind of more or less subsidized by the grant system right now. It's a competitive grant system. And, the grants work great as long as we have, a surplus of money. But they can see in the foreseeable future that, this surplus is gonna dry up, and so are these grants. So,
Yep.
and, the roads aren't getting any cheaper to build, so.
Yeah, they're not improving themselves either. So any further discussion?
It should have been an issue years ago. They should have resolved that. To
Yeah,
put it off, put it off, put it off.
I know.
Gotta do something.
all right. All in favor of adopting the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed? It's carried. Resolution 0803, HVAC jail rooftop.
Whereas the Jackson County Facilities Management Department is requesting funding to replace rooftop unit RU01, which serves the maximum security side of the Jackson County Jail at a cost of $346,600, and rooftop unit RTU01, which serves the Huber unit side of the jail at a cost of $93,800, for a total project cost not to exceed $500,000. And whereas rooftop unit RU1 was installed in 2009 and is the primary source of heating, cooling, and dehumidification for the maximum security side of the jail, operates 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and has reached the end of its useful life with major repairs required on a yearly basis. And whereas rooftop unit RTU01 was also installed in 2009 and is the primary source of heating and cooling for the Huber unit side of the jail, operates 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and is past its useful life. And whereas RTU01 was originally designed for limited Huber inmate occupancy, and with the transition to full-time inmate housing, the exhaust and supply capacity of the unit is undersized and inadequate for current operational needs. And whereas replacement of rooftop units RU01 and RTU01 is necessary to improve indoor air quality, maintain livability, and help reduce the spread of viruses and illnesses within the Jackson County Jail. And whereas the Jackson County Property Committee has reviewed the project and approved the replacement of rooftop units RU01 and RTU01. Now therefore be it resolved that the Jackson County Board of Supervisors approves the Facilities Management Department to replace rooftop units RU01 and RTU01 at the Jackson County Jail at a total project cost not to exceed $500,000. Now therefore be it further resolved that the Jackson County Board of Supervisors approves using contingency funds up to $250,000 and ho-chunk funds up to $250,000 to fund said project.
Motion by Garth, second by Dale to approve. Rick, you want to speak on this?
So back in front of you again, I just wanted to remind everybody that we did have this, the actual Super unit was up for replacement in 2019. We actually budgeted that. And because of the jail study came aboard, got traction, we took it off the budget. So now we're just looking for the fact that that one is a that need to be replaced. The RT1 for the max, we're running about a half capacity right now. We have replaced two compressors in it in the last year and a half, and we have one failed as we speak. So we do have a 50% cooling. We are a lack of dehumidification that side of the gyms. That's why we're here today. Questions?
In my visits to that side of the jail, it's easy to see why we need air replacement there. It's not good air. So any other questions, discussion? All those in favor of adopting the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next is resolution 0903 animal shelter donations.
Statute section 5901 to carry out governmental functions and to take actions necessary and proper to the performance of its legal duties. And whereas Jackson County owns and operates the Jackson County Animal Shelter, which provides animal control, sheltering, and related public services pursuant to Wisconsin law. And whereas the operation of the Jackson County Animal Shelter constitutes a valid purpose and an authorized function of Jackson County. And whereas Jackson County may receive funds from sources other than taxation in furtherance of authorized public purposes, provided such funds are accepted and administered in accordance with county governance and fiscal controls. And whereas the acceptance of voluntary donations from private individuals or entities to support Jackson County Animal Shelter may assist the county in meeting increasing operational costs while continuing to provide essential public services. And whereas any donations accepted by Jackson County for the benefit of the Jackson County Animal Shelter must be treated as county funds deposited with the county treasurer and expended solely for authorized public purposes consistent with county policy and applicable law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Jackson County Board of Supervisors hereby authorizes Jackson County to accept monetary gifts, donations, and contributions from private or corporate donors for the benefit of the Jackson County Animal Shelter, subject to the following conditions. 1, all donations shall be accepted on behalf of Jackson County, Wisconsin, and shall be administered as county funds in accordance with applicable accounting, audit, and fiscal control requirements. 2, donations shall be used solely for public purposes related to the operation, maintenance, and support of the Jackson County Animal Shelter as determined by Jackson County. 3, acceptance of donations, gifts, or contributions shall not confer any private benefit, endorsement, or quid pro quo to any donor. 4, county staff are authorized to issue acknowledgement letter for donation, provided such acknowledgements do not warranty, guarantee, or represent the tax treatment of any donation. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect upon adoption by the Jackson County Board of Supervisors and publication as required by law.
Motion by Sarah, seconded by Dale to approve. And Amy isn't here. Cindy isn't on, is she? Oh, there's reasons why we had to do this, and that's, I guess, to give a receipt so that the persons that donate are guaranteed that it's tax exempt, or they could declare it on their taxes.
Yeah, she's just currently doing it with the receipt book.
Yeah.
And there needs to be something more official from the.
Okay,
for
so
that.
she's gonna have forms made out that spell that out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
Do they still have their own fundraisers there, or all the money they get, they got to fund them through us now, or what? It's kind of a choice, right? But they have to. They do that too.
Just remember, wait, it's two separate groups. You have the Jackson County Humane Society and you have the Jackson County Animal Shelter. The Humane Society gets donations all of the time. And those are not used for operational cost in most cases. They have a significant amount of money, but when people are giving to the organization, a lot of people think that when they're giving to the Humane Society, they're giving it to the animal shelter, and that's not true.
Right.
Two separate groups. So we needed to clean our side of it up in order for tax deduction according to the reports that Amy presented to us at E&F. And that's why we have to make that shift.
Can I also respond?
Yes.
Hi, it's Cindy. I am calling from my cell phone, so hopefully you can hear me okay. Any department in Jackson County is a tax exempt organization, but there have been questions that, are you sure? Which we're sure. This officially makes it so it can be presented to the public. The resolution was drafted by court counsel as they had recommended, more of a comfort level for people that do donate, that yes, we're tax exempt. Here's the proof.
All right. Thank you, Cindy.
You're welcome.
Stand by. All
I
those, are we ready for the question?
Yes.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? It's carried. Resolution 1003, appointment of interim admin coordinator.
Establishes an administrative coordinator and establishes certain duties for the administrative coordinator. And whereas upon the resignation of the current administrative coordinator, it is appropriate for the county board to appoint a replacement. Now therefore be it resolved that the Jackson County Board of Supervisors appoints Human Resource Director Jessica McDonald as interim administrative coordinator effective March 21st, 2026.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Tom, second by Sarah to approve the resolution. Jessica, you want to speak to this or you accept this assignment? You don't have a choice, but
Unmute your mic. Unmute your mic, Jessica.
You're muted.
You're muted.
No,
There you
I'm
go.
being a mime. I'm being a mime tonight. You're supposed to read my lips. No, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity and the level of faith that the recommendation has brought. And I look forward to any discussion that you folks would like to have or any questions that you have of me. But it is an interim appointment, so let's keep that in mind. And as you
Yeah.
folks deliberate over the next, several weeks or months, I mean, change takes time. And so I understand that you folks do not want to make a speedy decision on how you want to move forward with decisions. But I'm here to support. So I really appreciate the opportunity and I look forward to serving you in a broader capacity.
any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Carried.
One thing that we messed up in the resolution, wasn't it supposed to say dipping out in there somewhere?
Dipping out? No. That's tomorrow. Resolution
Yeah,
1103.
Don't forget, folks, I'm sorry to interject. Don't forget, folks, that potluck is tomorrow in the county boardroom. It is a dipping out party for Cindy and Chair Amo.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to pass.
Resolution 1103 authorizing highway committee to accept or decline bids.
Six, authorizing the issuance of bonds in an amount not to exceed 34 million for the construction of a new highway facility. And whereas the Jackson County Highway Department has met regularly with the project architect and construction manager in the design and development of the new facility. And whereas the Highway Department has provided regular updates to the Jackson County Highway Committee regarding the progress of the facility design. And whereas as the project enters the bidding phase, it is appropriate and efficient to authorize the Highway Committee to review and act upon bids received for the project, provided such bids remain within the authorized budget. And whereas this resolution does not authorize the Highway Committee to approve any bid or project costs that would cause the total project expenditures to exceed 34 million. Now therefore be it resolved by the Jackson County Board of Supervisors that the Jackson County Highway Committee is hereby granted the full authority of the board to review, accept, or decline bids for the new highway facility project in accordance with the Jackson County Code of Ordinances, provided that the total project cost shall not exceed 34 million. Be it further resolved that any action taken by the Highway Committee pursuant to this authority shall remain subject to all applicable state laws, county ordinances, and established procurement procedures.
Motion by Ed Chamberlain, seconded by Mike to approve the resolution. Anybody want to speak to it? Kevin, do you want to speak to it or?
With this facility, it's actually first phase is gonna go out for bids next week. So that'll take like 3 weeks, so it'll probably come around to next highway department by April meeting, so. And this is just for precast foundation site work and steel because They actually need to know the precast manufacturer in order to finish the design. Something to do with the way the locking mechanism work on walls. And they're like 150 days out to order them. So that'll probably take us out 5 months. So if we get them ordered in April, they're not gonna be here till September on both, so.
All right, any other questions? All in favor of, oh, Hoyt, go ahead.
Years ago, when we did the courthouse, we got this sent, paper. And a week before we got there, they changed it already, and then we got here, they changed it again, but that's not very likely to happen, is it?
I don't think
We don't know
so.
5 months, from now. I mean, that fee, that number is not set in stone, for sure. I mean, we could have war go on or steel prices go up, and
Yeah. Well, Market and Johnson's pretty confident they can stay on budget. So, and we do have, there is a contingency amount set aside. But Highway Committee will keep track of it. So.
Yes. Very good. I'm on that committee. It's not going over the 34 million.
All in favor of the resolution, signify by saying aye. Opposed? It's carried. Resolution 1203, request of Ho-Chunk funds for Taser project.
Utilizes less lethal tools to help reduce injuries to suspects, members of the community and staff. And whereas Axon makes the Tase X26P, which is a less lethal tool that is commonly used by law enforcement agencies throughout the United States of America and is recognized as an accepted less lethal tool by the Wisconsin Department of Justice. And whereas the many of the tasers currently being used by the Jackson County Sheriff's Office are old technology, some have failed and need to be replaced, and most are past the 5-year life cycle suggested by Axon, and parts are increasingly hard to source. And whereas the Jackson County Board of Supervisors approved a budget for 2026, which included funding $27,978, which will be used to purchase 13 Axon Taser X26Ps, which will include a 1-year warranty and a 4-year extended warranty, as well as purchasing batteries, cartridges, and holsters, which will cover some needs the Jackson County Sheriff's Office uses. And whereas Axon has an estimated 6% increase in cost per year, and whereas the Jackson County Sheriff's Office requests Ho-Chunk funds in the amount of $43,000 to purchase an additional 19 Axon Taser X26Ps, batteries, cartridges, holsters, and download kit to complete the outfitting of the Jackson County Sheriff's Office staff based on current positions. And therefore be it resolved that the Jackson County Sheriff's Office hereby requests the Jackson County Board of Supervisors to authorize Ho-Chunk funds in the amount of $43,000 to fund the 2026 Taser project.
Motion by Garth, second by Max to approve. And the chief deputy and the sheriff are here. Dick, go ahead.
So this is something we've been looking at for a number of months, and ultimately, if we do this, it's going to be able to outfit our deputies and jail staff with technology that they. This isn't something like, go out and find a different company to source it, competitive bid, that sort of thing. Axon is the only game in town on these things. This particular option here, take this, quick number on the map is right around that $70,000 mark. Prior to this, the project that I've been working on with Axon was considerably more expensive. And at that point in time, when I was working with them, I've been led to believe that this option didn't exist. Well, it does exist. And I strongly suggest that we go with this. Now, this is an older technology, you should be aware of it. But I've been assured by Axon that if we go with this, it should lock us in for the next 5 years. We have this product and it should be supporting it for the next 5 years. So even if they stop producing this product, the slab parts and stuff to back us up on warranty for it. So outside of the initial purchase on this, the thing that we'd be looking at moving forward in the next 4 years would just be your cartridges and the batteries that need to be replaced, which is significantly cheaper than still moving forward with the other product.
Any questions for Nick or Sheriff Tom?
Is there a plan in place, chief, where we will be rotating out a number of them per year? So we don't have to replace them all at one time? So we can try and keep it within the budget instead of borrowing on money out of contingency funds or other sources?
Sure, so that's a great question. So what this plan here is to do is this is to get us to the next 5 years, okay? After that, if we want to start looking at moving into the Taser 10, whatever technology they have at that point, we can certainly approach that as it comes, but it's going to be at a significantly higher cost. Than we talk about the budget, for example, as far as I know, this budget cycle in right now is the first time that this has been budgeted at the end of the budget. So I could stand corrected on that because I've not been in this position. So, but the plan here would be to get us through at significantly cheaper cost for the next 5 years. If we go with the higher, the new technology, the higher product, we'd still be at that 5-year cycle at that point.
I understand that, and I believe that this is a vital tool in the force continuum for our staff. I just want to make sure that we're looking futuristic, that these things need to be rotated out a few at a time, not the entire department all at one time. That's not a very effective way to do it. And, you said this is the first time that you're aware of that it's budgeted. Maybe we should have been budgeting a few a year, every year. So we don't have to take $43,000 out of a chunk funds to do it. We could do it within your own budget. So those are my only comment. I'm in favor of it, but I just want to make sure that we have a plan. Huh?
Great question. So the recommended life cycle of them is 5 years of what Axon says. I would tell you the ones that we have right now, there's some of them that, well, most of them have been here a lot, different homes have been here more than 5 years. But it actually goes into each individual taser to tell you exactly how long it's been here. They're well outside their 5-year replacements.
Okay, thank you.
The other, White, go ahead.
Like Tom said, you can still use the old ones and some of them, the new, you can set them aside. You might not need them 2 or 3 years. But you can stretch it out that way. They're just set, they're not going to deteriorate if not use them.
So most of the ones we have right now, but the problem that we're running into is that they're so old that they don't make parts well. So we're using them and we're limping them through, but so I understand what you're saying, but realistically, to get a real reliable tool off the field, I suggest you do from all over the field.
Well, and it's recognized as an accepted less lethal tool. In other words, a gun, right?
Sure, you said it.
It is recognized as an accepted less lethal tool. In other words, you're talking about a gun.
Yes,
That's less.
something other than using a gun.
Yeah.
Correct. And I can address the budget. Throughout the budget cycle, we have been replacing them with different technologies through the sheriff's office budget. And the comment I'll make on that is that Axon has come up with a new borrowing platform. And that's why the new technology is set up a little bit different than this current one. And you're buying into a 5-year plan. So you basically have to, if you did rotate them, which would be a goal through the process, as one fails, hopefully we can, you'd have to put them into a 5-year cycle. So per se, and we're not quite ready for that because it's going to be many contract cycles if we do it in 5-unit, 10-unit, etc. So yes, it will take some time to get to that, but Axon's doing a different sale plan than they are just buying individual units. You just need to know that it's different now compared to what it was 2-3 years ago.
Right. We don't need a demonstration of the taser, do we? Yeah, sure. Whoa, okay. Any volunteers? Right, all those in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed? It's carried. salary adjustments for the 27-30 term, 1303.
Whereas as part of the county's fringe benefit program, county elected officials may elect to receive health insurance coverage under the same terms and conditions as the health insurance coverage offered to other Jackson County employees. Now therefore be it resolved by the Jackson County Board of Supervisors that the total annual compensation for county elected officers under Wisconsin statute 59.221 shall be as follows, and will also include the annual cost of living adjustment determined by the Executive Finance and Personnel Committee, effective on the first day of a term of office that begins after the date of this resolution. Option B, Clerk of Courts, 2027, grade 14, step 6, 14.77%, $82,076. 2028, grade 14, step 7, 1.27%, $83,137. 2029, grade 14, step 8, 7%, $83,720. 2030, grade 14, step 9, 1.7%, $85,197 for a total of 17.81%. Sheriff, grade 20, step 5, 10.24%, $110,531. Grade 20, step 6, 2.56%, $113,360. Grade 20, step 7, 1.3%, $114,837. Grade 20, step 8, 1.17%, $116,189. Total of 15.27%. Be it further resolved that the aforementioned county elected official is entitled to participate in the Wisconsin retirement system in accordance with law, and the county shall pay only its share of contributions required by law. And be it further resolved that the aforementioned county elected official is entitled to participate in the county's health insurance program, subject to the terms and conditions of the program, which may be modified from time to time under the same terms and conditions as the health insurance coverage offered to other Jackson County employees.
Motion by Ron, second by Garth to approve the resolution. Jessica, you want to explain a little bit?
Certainly. So, oh, thank you, Chair. Certainly, just really briefly presented this to the executive committee, and essentially what this recommendation is to kind of right align these constitutional officers within our wage grid, which generally speaking, it doesn't have to be done, but we've had much discussion internally about, like right aligning subordinates and reporters to management staff. And so that's kind of the idea that we had with this. And so putting them in line with the stepping grade that makes sense for the where their offices are at right now. I'll give an example for the sheriff's position. Essentially, chief deputy, that position is in a grade 19 out of a grade 20. So we have 20 grades here at Jackson County, and the sheriff's wages were behind the grade 19, if that makes sense. So trying to bring that back in line, you folks have a lot of options here. And again, last month, it was presented 3 different options. You can have a lot of discussion. You have to make a decision this month, essentially. It has to be set, but this is my recommendation coming forward from the discussions that I've had internally, though. So happy to answer any questions.
Okay, and Jeannie is here, the current treasurer, clerk of courts, I'm sorry. You want to speak on this?
and there being a consistent gap for the ending 2 years with the other electives. That gap now exceeds over $9,000. This proposal will close that gap and align more with the electives, the county departments, and the employees. When you break it down hourly, it compares equally, if not below, the hourly pay other county supervisors, managers, and administrators receive. Like Jessica was talking, you have the pay grade. So with the clerk of courts position, she used a grade 14, step 6. So the past 4 years, the general staff has approved an 18% cost of living increase, not including their step increase for each year. A previous wage study review determined the deputy clerk of courts were to be placed higher on the pay grade due to the complexity of the job. So if the duties of the clerk of courts position are more complex and the clerk of court performs these duties, and being a small county requiring the clerk of court to be one of the working soldiers on top of all the other duties that the clerk of court performs, the one responsible for those deputies and all the work coming out of that office, does it not stand to reason that the clerk of court office in general performs more complex work and more as at stake for the county in terms of liability in the work if the work is not done correctly? I understand this is an elected position, but for the benefit of the county, the position needs to have the knowledge of the court system and the department as a whole. Clerk of Court's office is not merely a record-keeping entity, but are the safeguard for the county's legal and financial integrity. Also being the financial powerhouse of the court system, collecting and dispersing millions annually in fines, forfeitures, sale proceeds, share of sale proceeds, and trust fund. Ensuring that every dollar ordered by the court is accounted for and distributed accordingly to strict statutory requirements. And I also want to say that in addition, when considering the wage increase, there's always the question, where will the money come from? The increase is supported by successful legislative advocacy for my efforts and the efforts of the other clerk of court colleagues, along with the Wisconsin and county administration throughout the state. Being awarded that additional $10 million in annual circuit court funding from the state budget, Jackson County received an additional increase of $62,000 for 2025, above and beyond the budget that was presented. And this is to help support the clerk of court. And as I said, the additional increase will continue to come in the next several years. So that additional $62,000 will be an additional increase for the next 7 years.
All right, thank you. Sheriff, you want to speak?
Process the county board has to go through to set this wage is very important to the office of sheriff and other elected officials. The method and means you guys use, it's up to you. And I would agree with clerk of courts, basically saying that there's a lot of duties and responsibility within these constitutional offices. In a rural county, especially, we are boots on the ground working officials and not just figureheads. And they have to have that responsibility, the knowledge and experience to execute those offices. So it's a tough decision by the county board, and I appreciate it. And yeah, it's something you guys gotta do. So I thank you.
Max.
So I've been a part of a lot of these. It seems like every 2 years we do this, and it seems like we always come up short the last 2 years of these wages. So, we're giving a 14% wage and a 10% wage respectively for these positions. It means they're kind of down right now, but we always come up short. And so then in 2030, when we redo this for 2031, it'll get another 14% increase, and then it's just like the same. Like Groundhog's Day, it's the same thing, and I don't know why we don't just do the step increase and then just kind of finish a lot higher at the end. And that way there's not a huge gap between the next term.
If all four elected officials were on the same year, the same schedule, I think you could do that, but when you do it every 2 years for the 4-year term, that's when it gets kind of complicated. It gets to be a math problem is what it ends up being.
I'm sure we also look at surrounding counties too. I think Trumbull.
Yes, we do with the comps, yeah.
Yeah, like what's Trumbull County? Did they pass theirs yet, Katie?
They're very, very close.
Okay,
She went up 22%,
really?
all counties. Because there was such a shortfall back when they presented the proposal in 2022.
Okay.
And then going to the 2023 term, then all of the employees got this throughout the past 5 years, it's 20% increase. They were way up.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't. There's gonna be a better method of doing this. I don't think we found the perfect way to do it yet.
Yeah,
But yeah, we're gonna be the same place in 4 years. We're gonna give them a 20% increase the first year, then they go up rather than from there. So I don't know how we got these numbers, but this can't really change much right now.
Yeah.
Anybody can run for them.
right. If no other questions or discussion, are we ready for the question? Oh, Jessica, you,
If I may, my hand is raised and I hope I can put it down. And I think that Cindy raised her hand as well. I did neglect to mention in my previous comments that, this is just like I explained to the executive committee and just like Chair Amo understands and veteran board members, this is a reactive measure as opposed to a proactive. So we can't, obviously, we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what CPI is going to be. We don't know what the board is going to approve for increases for general staff in the next 4 years or whatever. So it's very much reactive. And it's not Jackson County's fault. It's not anyone's fault. This is statutory. This is how it is set at the state level. So if you folks want to go to WCA and the legislative exchange, that's how you make change. If you want to see it, be different. But I hope that Jeannie and, the sheriff in their respective positions are satisfied with what's being recommended from HR within this resolution. I haven't heard anything negative. I think we've been able to work very well together. So it is very much reactive. I will give you that. Yes.
and Cindy, do you wish to speak?
Yes, if I could, I wanted to respond to Max and kind of go on a little bit more on what Jessica said. 2 years ago, when the treasurer, register of deeds, and county clerk's positions were set, the resolution was changed a little differently, as is the resolution before you, that allows for a cost of living increase and the step increase. So this should keep the constitutional officers more in line with what their employees are receiving.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor of adopting the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed? It's carried. Do we need a short break? No? Keep pounding through. I was thinking of a cake break, but.
I'll take you up.
Right, short break, Tom? Okay.
Coming back, Tom?
I love that later.
More than halfway through. Okay. I better have some cake.
A lot of them decided to follow Tom's lead.
Yes.
How you doing? How you been? Yeah. So I wonder what. I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
It's been rough.
Elder.
Long day.
Reading earlier.
Yeah. But that went pretty good. But like I said, I got done with all the bullshit about maybe 220. Everything got stuck, everything. The predictors, and I was just like, man, we get through this. I mean, it sucks. And then the thing of it is too, is that you have to carry the water pipe, the horses, and that's not about 100 yards. And it's deep out there. It's like 3/4 of our rifts. So after that was done, that was pretty much it. That was it. But I didn't even try to put a shed. I just put it right by the house. I'm not gonna drive all the way down. Come back up and go away. So it's been rough. How you guys been doing as far as health wise? It was pretty good.
My son coming down.
Was it really?
And had to roll open doors.
Oh, wow. Okay. How much snow did you guys get?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Well, that's where.
I think we got close to. Bill said he got 28. Yeah. How much snow did you guys get?
I'd like to say but
Hammered,
Good jump around.
Said they had like 6 trucks. That's incredible. Person per road don't realize it.
Never stops. Literally, like yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The weather. It's not like that. One got squarely and it just screwed up the whole. Couldn't do nothing. All the semi.
Yeah.
Sink the ground.
Ridiculous. Oh, yeah, it is. I think we should be using
Yeah. I finally got the.
Oh, is it that? Yep.
I'll see if they'll.
Yep.
At night.
Close it. That's it. Absolutely.
Next step.
Oh, it would have been.
Right. Right, so doing the motion to suspend the rules.
So moved.
Second.
I saw suspend the rules and read the calling ordinances and zoning petitions only once. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed. Next is the resolution 1403 revision to the code of ethics. Who's the second on the suspend the rules?
Whereas Jackson County Code of Ordinance, Chapter 1.05, Jackson County Code of Ethics is in need of updating as evidenced by the attached. And whereas the ordinance is amended to specifically address the authority and responsibilities of employees, elected individuals, and legal counsel. And now therefore be it resolved by the Jackson County Board of Supervisors that the changes to Chapter 1.05 Jackson County Code of Ethics as evidenced by the attached is hereby approved and shall become effective upon publication.
Motion by Ed. Second by Bill to approve. Cindy, you want to speak on this?
Yeah, I certainly can. There was just been a review of the ethics code by Corp Counsel and various county board supervisors. After we had a few ethics felt that it was time to take a look at it. The statute, this was presented to you a few months back, and this version that you have in front of you is pretty toned down from that because it is basically following Wisconsin statute and their code of ethics.
All right. Anybody else, questions or discussion? All those in favor of adopting the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed? It's carried. Next is resolution 1503, revision to the rules of the board.
To specifically address the rules of the Jackson County Board. And now therefore be it resolved by the Jackson County Board of Supervisors that the changes to Chapter 201 Rules of the Board as evidenced by the attached is hereby approved and shall become effective April 21st, 2026.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Tom, second by Sarah to approve. Discussion? It's pretty common that counties review their rules of the board just before the next session or the next new board takes over to clear up or clarify different segments of it. A lot of counties were doing it. We had WCA look at it. I believe the attorney looked at it. And of course, Corp Counsel. And there was some adjustments made, but this was the finished product that was on your iPads. Any questions or discussion? All in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed? Carried. Resolution 1603, Resolution amending ordinance 704.
Of State Highway 1227 from Mill Street to Castle Hill Road, crossing the Halls Creek Bridge in the Village of Maryland, Town of Alma, Jackson County. A 1,850-foot section of State Highway 95 from South Hayden Street to County Road K, crossing the East Fork Halls Creek Bridge in the Village of Maryland, Town of Alma, Jackson County. Whereas the Jackson County Highway Committee proposes amending Jackson County Ordinance 7.04 to VIII by adding the following. ATVs/UTVs may operate on a 3,850-foot section of State Highway 54 from North Bend Drive to Sandberg Road, crossing the Mill Creek Bridge in the town of North Bend, Jackson County. A 1,650-foot section of State Highway 1227 from Mill Street to Castle Hill Road, crossing the Halls Creek Bridge in the Village of Maryland, town of Alma, Jackson County. A 1,850-foot section of State Highway 95 from South Hayden Street to County Road K, crossing the East Fork Halls Creek Bridge in the Village of Maryland, town of Alma, Jackson County, as follows. Cross the bridge in the most direct manner practicable and at a safe location. Stay as far to the right of the roadway or shoulder as practicable. Stop the vehicle before crossing the bridge. Yield the right of way to other vehicles, pedestrians, and devices. Exit the highway as quickly and safely as practicable after crossing the bridge, the next available town road connection. Now therefore be it resolved that the Jackson County Board of Supervisors approves the above amendment of Jackson County Code of Ordinance 7.04 to VIII. Said ordinance shall become effective upon publication. Motion to approve.
By Sarah, second by Bill to approve. Discussion, Kevin, you want to speak to the resolution?
Work with Bill on getting, basically Maryland was kind of cut off. Sand Road was the only road in and out of Maryland that ATVs were allowed to use. So basically it's gonna connect Maryland to County K for them to get back and forth out of Hatfield and into Castle Hill Road. So they'll have a lot more, once, the town of Alma and Maryland have already passed this, same resolution. So all we have to do is, publish it, order the signs, and as soon as the signs are up, they will be open.
Any other discussion? All in favor of adopting the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed? It's carried. Resolution 1703, text amendment to chapter 19 recycling.
Whereas the WDNR has updated their model ordinance, these changes will bring the ordinance into full compliance with Section 287.11 Wisconsin statutes and Chapter NR 544 Wisconsin Admin Code. And whereas the Jackson County recycling ordinance is in effect in all areas of the county, now therefore be it resolved that the Jackson County Zoning and Land Information Committee hereby recommends that the Jackson County Board of Supervisors adopts the amendments to the Chapter 19 recycling ordinance to be updated to the most current WDNR model ordinance amended as attached. And be it resolved that these proposed text amendments will take effect upon publication of the official business by the Jackson County Board of Supervisors.
Motion by Ed, second by Dale to approve the resolution. John's here to answer any questions. Any questions for John? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Carried. Resolution 1803, revision to chapter 25.
Code of Ordinances, Chapter 25, Construction and Effects of Ordinances is in need of revision and updating as evidenced by the attached amendments. And whereas Chapter 25 currently provided that a schedule of cash deposits shall be adopted by the county board from time to time and maintained on file with the county clerk, sheriff, and Department of Health and Human Services. Whereas the Jackson County Deposit Schedule establishes standardized citation deposit amounts for ordinance violations and is intended to be formally adopted and maintained as an official county document and annexed to Chapter 25. Now therefore be it resolved by the Jackson County Board of Supervisors that the amendments to Chapter 25, Construction and Effective Ordinances, including the incorporation and adoption of the Jackson County Deposit Schedule as an official annex to Chapter 25, are hereby approved. And be it further resolved that the county clerk shall maintain the approved deposit schedule on file as an official county document and update the code of ordinances accordingly. And be it further resolved that these changes shall become effective upon passage and publication as required by the law.
Motion by Garth, second by John to approve the resolution. Ben and Carly are here.
We wanted to have something that aligned with our county ordinance. So that led us to chapter 25, in which we realized needed some updates. Among some code revisions and verbiage in the ordinance, specifically 25.04, the section for penalty provisions, identifying those county employees that do have citation authority, is probably the most significant updates to the ordinance. And second was the compilation of the citations throughout the county amongst the various chapters of ordinance, working with forestry and parks, zoning, the sheriff's department, humane officer, and land conservation. This document is just a compilation of those citations into one county deposit schedule. So this has been reviewed by Corp Council, and no fees on here or increases or decreases, just compiling them together. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Ben? Okay. All in favor of the resolution, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried. Next, resolution 1903, creation of a whistleblower protection.
Violations of law, mismanagement, abuse of authority, substantial waste of public funds, are dangers to public health and safety without fear of retaliation, thereby promoting transparency, accountability, and ethical governance. And whereas this policy will support informed decision-making, compliance with state and federal laws, and public trust without interfering with the county's operational authority. And whereas the county board has the authority under Wisconsin statute 59.526, 59.528, and 59.5230 to establish administrative standards for county employees and operations. Whereas the Executive Finance and Personnel Committee has reviewed and recommends adoption of the attached ordinance. Now therefore be it resolved by the Jackson County Board of Supervisors that section 1.06 of the Jackson County Court of Ordinances entitled Whistleblower Protection is hereby adopted as attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference. Be it further resolved, this ordinance shall take effect upon publication as required by law.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Tom, second by Desiree to approve. Discussion.
Noticing, was this from previous comments by Justin Andrews?
The comments are in response to the initial draft.
Got it, okay.
And so the comments were made by Corporation Council, so it would not conflict with state or federal language or limit the reporting requirement, for example, of saying that you'll report it internally first. That prohibits, that's in violation of federal law where it says that that you do have the right to go straight to OSHA if you so choose. And so Corporation Council went through it in detail. You can read all the comments down the side and come up with a real solid document that adds specific whistleblower protection under county ordinance, which was lacking. So now we have potentially, depending on what you do right now, we'll have a good solid whistleblower ordinance for our staff if should that become necessary.
Any other comments? Max?
Is there like any state or federal, there must be state or federal laws about whistleblower stuff in government?
We're adopting it into ordinance for clarification.
Okay, but really it's no different?
It complements,
Okay.
just for those who are handed.
Jessica, go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. Essentially, anyone can report anything to ERD, which is the Equal Rights Division of DWD. There's a number of outlets, WERC, that employees or private citizens can report concerns to. I think that what the objective here is for the whistleblower, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the whistleblower ordinance or code update is to essentially kind of solidify that and to say, you have other avenues, and Jackson County will back any individual, whether it be a private citizen or an employee, in reporting concerns.
All right. Any other questions? Discussion? All in favor of adopting the resolution, signify by saying aye. Opposed? It's carried. Zoning petitions. First one is Lutheran Social Services of Wisconsin.
Zero 0673.0010. The request is to change 8.23 acres of the B2 outlying business district to the R2 residential private water and septic systems to change use to a 1 or 2 family dwelling residential housing. That zone change was approved.
Motion by Sarah. Seconded by Max to approve. And Hoyt or John, any problems?
Down Alvin, next to Rustic Mill, it used to be a solution for the home, but all fairly straightforward that they're just gonna convert it over to.
Used to be a halfway house at one time, but yeah, okay. So if no further discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Next is zone petition 2608 Heath Shawley.
Request is to change 5.88 acres of the R1 residential public water and sewer to the B2 outlying business district to have indoor, outdoor fenced in storage, and this was also approved.
Motion by second by Ed to approve. Hoyt?
Rockwood didn't approve it, he's gonna go ahead, I think it's here, he's gonna have it all fenced in, it's gonna have for everything from boats to campers to other indoor or outdoor. We always seem to have that at our fairground or books there too, so this, and it's no problem here either, but.
All right. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? It's carried. Next annual reports were on your iPad. There's one from County Clerk. The I don't know, Cindy, you want to speak to it or Mary?
No, I don't.
All right.
Thank you.
And then the Fair Board. Looks like you're short on cash, but I guess it's that time of year where the funds are down until you start the activity. Yeah. Right. Okay. And then last is the medical examiner. And her statistics. Deaths are down. So are births. All right. We're down to committee reports for brief committee reports. Forestry and Park.
We're being hauled out at present. Getting ready, getting the parks ready and the trails ready. And on the highway side, of course, the last few days since that blizzard, this guy's been going around the clock based. Keeping the roads open, the county and the townships. County should have high praise for them guys.
Yes.
They kept things open so that fire EMS could get out to these rural areas where it was tough going.
I talked to Kevin and he was even in a plow one night. So even the commissioner was wheeling.
Where these 4 county plow trucks that were in the ditch.
Yeah.
You know, visibility.
Yeah.
They were crack filling and cutting a lot of trees and brush prior to this big storm, and they had small storms prior to that, and they haul salt sand to the townships.
Okay. Property.
We discussed that, the facilities condition assessment. We're gonna have that load, at each individual county building. And they secured single point entrance. At this time, we decided not to move forward on that, but to continue to monitor. And we decided to go ahead with the remodel of the records building. And to go ahead with the carpeting on the second floor of the extension. Courthouse hallway floors and carpet on the BHHS office carpet. Just had to move forward on them.
LEC.
The sheriff is working with Maryland and Elma Center on the law enforcement contract services contract. Those some issues there, the finances, and he's getting it all worked out. He's meeting with the board. He put together a site list. I'm pretty sure it's gonna go through and follow. There was a PSAP equipment bids that were brought in regards to the dispatch center.
And it would be for furniture and computers. And we approved a bid by Baycom for $268,401 the system. And the money comes out of a state grant to enhance the 911 system. And then we introduced a new emergency management director, Cindy Jackson, and updated us on the hazard mitigation plan that's being worked on, and some other things. And she is very knowledgeable, and she has had experience in emergency management prior to coming to us. I think she'll do real great. So,
All right. She worked all weekend and kept me informed on what was happening with the storm. So I'm impressed with her. EHHS.
We heard about child abuse and public health. But I believe HR is reviewing resumes for the director's position.
Yes.
Be more to come. We meet Wednesday.
Okay. Animal shelter, Dale?
Okay. Presently, they have 10 dogs, 36 cats. They are bringing 10 more of the cats in off the waiting list. Redeemed fees, they brought in 500, donations 770. Adoption fees were in for a $1,680 total. Calls to retrieve animals for the month of February were 7. 1 after hours for 124 miles, 7 hours. They have switched their hours for Monday, Wednesday, and Thursdays to open till 6, but they're rotating around to where it's not adding any labor hours. The volunteer hours are 157.25. 3 cats were taken, neutered, 1 spaded, 10 cats spaded by Purple Heart up there in the Clare. 1 dog was spaded by Clark County because it's a lot cheaper there. The adoptions for February were 3 dogs, 8 cats. Pets redeemed by owners were 8 dogs and 1 cat. The Humane Society does donate $3,000 a year for cat litter, and that's just done through Tyson. Otherwise, they have changed their rates to go a little higher. If you want to hear them, I'll read them.
Yeah, I think we approved it at executive committee. Yeah.
Otherwise, they're doing a fine job. They're keeping it down to where it's more manageable for them.
Yeah, right.
Good job.
Especially on the cats. Economic development, Russ?
Yeah, we had our meeting this afternoon at 3 o'clock. We had an individual from Myron Construction show up, was telling us about what kind of projects they've been doing in west central Wisconsin and especially in rural areas. And Ken had reached out to invite him to come in here. And Ken's been talking to him quite a bit about trying to get, Myron Construction, if they hear something that, a builder, or a developer wants to, look at a rural area, this is what we're trying to get. And so Ken has been working with him a lot. Ken's been all over the place. He has been working everywhere. We also have Chris Hardy got a $250,000 grant, and that's going to be dispersed, $10,000 cap, I believe he was saying. And that's going to be dispersed for people that want them. We're gonna have to write, the grants out, and he'll be.
Business and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise,
How much was that?
Otherwise, mine's gonna apply.
I know, right? I'm telling them.
Yeah.
We could all use that. Anyway, the other thing too is that Tom came up with this wonderful plan, and I'm serious, it's nice. About a vision that he's got concerning the old highway shop down here. And that was brought, and that was put on the board today, the review board here. And it's really nice. It's a real nice situation. And we decided that we're gonna start, we're gonna have John Bingle and him facilitate a gathering of all the different committees in Jackson County. And we would have everybody showing up and giving their 2 cents worth as to what they deem is going to be something that they want to see down here, what they want to see. So I think that's a good thing. You know, like I said, Ken Pearson's been doing a wonderful job, and the guy never seems to stop. So, Bill?
No, Ken's sitting right there.
There he is, right there. Fantastic, yeah. There you go, see? Still not moving it. So, you know, but that's basically what we're all looking at right now, is just coming up with a plan as to what we want to do with this 5 acres down here at downtown Black River. And if anybody has some suggestions, they can show up at that meeting also. It'd be nice to have all sorts of input. Okay, so that's it. Thank you.
Any other committees? Tony? No? As far from executive committee, the bid bonds for the project were opened on Wednesday, and they came in at 3.96%. So the original numbers that you saw were estimates at 4.5%. So we got, under 4%. That's what we were hoping for, and it did happen. So that's great. It'll make it a little more affordable, less interest.
Jeff, do you know how that changes the cost per 100,000 on taxes? Do you have that number?
No, I don't. I don't know if Cindy has pounded that out yet or not. And she's only got a few days to do it, so somebody will figure that out. Cindy, do you have anything you want to say to the board? It's your last meeting.
I just want to first apologize that I'm not there. I was supposed to be able to fly home on Sunday, and it has now been delayed, canceled, delayed, and I'm hoping to get out of here Wednesday at 9 p.m. So I can't in person tell you how much I have appreciated everybody on that board, the support that I have had, and I am truly going to miss every single one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy.
We appreciate you.
All right.
Motion.
Yes, it's in order. Seconded by Max. All in favor, signify by saying aye. And I will be taking this.
That's kind of.
No, you have one.
Huh?
You can move this.